And so, since we don't have our own education system, there's no way that they would teach us how to take over them. There's no way that they would teach us how to take over their particular system. And so why would I teach you about real estate?
Right.
When I know that real estate is the true freedom. It's the 40 acres and a mule that they've been talking about. Listen, if you want to be a doctor, that has to be housed in some type of real estate. If you want to be a veterinarian, if you want to own a daycare, if you want to own a school, a supermarket, a bank, all of that is housed under real estate. So I tell people, regardless if you like it or not, you're in real estate. It's just that what spectrum of the real estate are you in? You might be at the lower part of, thank you. You might be at the lower part of the spectrum. You might be in it from a tenant perspective. You understand? If you paying $1,000 a month for 1 year, that's $12,000. In 5 years, that's $60,000 that you've already paid for that house.
Yep.
So the lack thereof of real estate being taught in our education system is another way to keep us down systematically.
Hey everyone, welcome to KROSS BARZ, where we discuss interesting topics with an alternative perspective. I'm your host, Big O, or co-host, and I have with me.
AJ Tanae's back in the building one more time with our guest here today. And you are Mr. Who? What's your name? What they call you?
My name is Benedict Guerrier, and I'm honored to be a part of the show today. Looking excited all the way from West Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
man.
got West Virginia and O's in North Carolina, so we got North Carolina in the building. So we worldwide.
Wait. Well, let me take that back. I'm in New Jersey, but the phone number said West Virginia. I didn't know you was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm Charlotte, man. You know what I mean? Like I try to tell people I'm from Charlotte. They be like, "You're not from here." I be like, "Dang, I can't even claim it. Like, how long I gotta be here to claim it?" No. You know what I mean? Because they was like, "Nah, your accent."
You look like you Jersey all the way. What was some of the main differences between Jersey and North Carolina that you see?
I went to college. I attended college in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina A&T State University to be exact. But the first thing that I encountered in North Carolina back in the day when I first stepped on campus was the heat. It's a different type of heat. Number one, I came in the middle of a heat wave. That's first and foremost. That thing reads you like you owed it money. Like, oh, yo, you out here? Oh, you do? Oh, you think you could wear Timberlands in North Carolina in August? Nah, that's not what you want to do. And anybody who does that, they got hammer time in their feet. The other part is that the only thing that's slow about anyone from the South, because you'll see like it's a slower pace, people ain't in a rush to do anything. But the only thing that's really slow is the draw and their dialect. But everything else is super sharp. And I really love the hospitality, you know, whereas when I first moved down here, you know, when you up north, a person look you in your eye too long, the first thing is, you know me? Like that's the natural response. Like, yo, you know me? Yo, what's going on? You know, can I help you? You know what I'm saying? You about to give somebody customer service right there. You know, and down there, they looking at you like, yo, you look familiar. And they just want to meet you. You know what I mean? And to me, it was like, you know, don't approach me on nothing. But then it was like, oh, nah, these people are just friendly and trying to, you know, gauge that. So that's one part. But then, you know, it's another element that they'll rock you to sleep because they're just trying to get at you. You know, they're like, oh, nah, just come around the corner right here. You know what I mean? So it's different. But after going to college, I went back up top, and then me and my wife moved down here because, you know, Jersey just was really not conducive to, you know, the pay I was receiving, trying to live. And it was like, oh, no. Yeah, it was just basically saying like, you know, no more middle class. You guys be super wealthy, or you just gonna be a bottom feeder. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Right.
seeing like,
That's because we like 15 minutes away from Manhattan, the part of Jersey we from, Essex County.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much when you hop, skip, and a jump away from the financial district of the world, they're gonna look at it like, man, the level of opportunities that surround you, regardless if you use it or not, there's a value on that. And I think a lot of people that's in the tri-state area, that old saying, you don't know what you're missing until it's gone, or because you right up on it, you don't recognize it. So yes, Jersey is extremely expensive, but the amount of opportunities that you around is crazy. I can't speak for North Carolina or the other cities because I never lived there, but I know living in LA for a long time, which changed my mindset on why I became so successful at home, because realizing how expensive things were over there in comparison to Jersey, it's like, parts of LA make Jersey look like North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
it's
all relative. And just think about how many people you run into in New York City. If you selling ice cream cones, you selling stamps, you selling I Love New York t-shirts and buttons, the amount of people that you run across on a daily basis, just off of those mathematical probabilities, you're going to be able to sell your product. So you're paying for all of that too.
Yeah, and I do understand that. I got a whole bunch of stuff to ask you, but let's first and foremost, let's get into like the foundation and basics. All right. Number one, where are you from? Where did you grow up? This is the fundamental, because not every one of our listeners are very familiar. They may see the last, maybe 10 years of, okay, real estate, flipping houses, restaurant, bar, but let's get to that point. Where are you originally from?
Well, I'm my parents are Haitian, which makes me Haitian, but I was born in Orange, New Jersey. Shout out to Citrus City. I went and growing up Haitian in the early 90s, was a tough thing. And so, overcoming that, adversity makes the person. After high school, I decided to skip college. I moved to California. I learned business, and I came back. But my years in New Jersey definitely formed me for a lot of adversities, because as you know, Jersey is what they call us, man. They call us Dirty Jersey. So anything that could go wrong will go wrong in Jersey, and you kind of just have to be built for it. And so I spent about 5 years in California. My wife was pregnant with my son. I decided that, we needed to be a little closer to family. And so having our son back home, and then I've been here pretty much ever since, taking it by storm and bringing everybody with me that want to come.
Okay. So what made you move to California? So if you graduated and you say you skipped college, then what made you say, all right, I'm leaving Jersey and going to a whole new coast? Like, how did you make that transition?
Well, at the time I was making music, and I realized that I was sounding like pretty much everybody out here. And so when I wanted to record my album, I needed somewhere where my sound wasn't the same sound as up here. And so I would kind of be watered down. So, and I think about being there for 3-4 years in California and really understanding the music business. And I'm having the opportunity to work with Jay Brown, which was at the time the vice president of Elektra Records, then became the vice president of Def Jam, and now part owner of Tidal Records and Rock Nation, Jay-Z's boy. He told me, he said, man, until you start to get paid from it, it's a hobby. And, speaking of the people who own, who are like the main players for ASCAP. So one thing about me, I like to always go to the top. I'm not even going to play with the mediocrity. You know what I mean? Because it's before the internet. I used to be a door-to-door salesman. I used to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners.
Oh, you was the 90s. Did you sell Vector knives too? Did you do the Vector knives?
Yo, you remember I sold Marquise's mother one of the Kirby vacuums, and then you remember I was doing high school parties, FBOE.
Oh,
and so
wow.
I always had, that knack for business and bringing others with me. Yeah. you know, if I could say what my strongest asset is or attribute, is really bringing others along with me, never having that big man complex, because me being able to build, you know, 20 houses in 2 years is nothing comparison to, you know, now I got my family down in North Carolina and we building a 200 unit down there. So one hand wash the other, they both wash the face. I've always had that mindset. And so, you know, it really worked out for me. You know, as you can see, I do the celebrity fix and flip meetups now. And the premise of that is I had nobody to teach me the game. Unfortunately, in our community, you know, real estate development, especially back then, was like, it was almost a farce. It wasn't real. It wasn't something tangible. And so I was finding trouble, obviously, with my friends at that age. Everybody want to smoke and chill, go to party. Yeah. The older guys, they're like, kid, get out of here. Or they feel upset that, you know, you are their boss because they have a complex built within them. And so it was like, damn, I was caught in a conundrum. You know what I mean? My young brothers, they still trying to party. I'm in my 20s. And the other dudes, they feel like, well, who are you to think that you could just hop in this industry? So, you know, my trials and my tribulations were really my teachers. And of course, following God Almighty. You know what I mean? You listen to God, he's going to tell you exactly what to do. So long story short, I brought about the celebrity fix and flip, where I created a haven for entrepreneurs, first-time home buyers, bankers, architects, political people, you know, just anybody, any arbitrary person that would basically stop you from succeeding, or cause a hurdle for you to succeed. I brought them all in one room: black, white, Muslim, Jewish, gay, straight. It didn't matter. If you had a social security number and a will to win, you know what I mean, you were welcome into the celebrity fix and flip family. So up to date, you know, we've had Dame Dash, we've had Beanie Siegel, Styles P, Angela Yee, DJ Envy, countless accountants, just the young boy that's doing this thing now, Derek Grace. You know, so I bring a bunch of influencers together. I was just mentioned on the Drink Champs. I bring a bunch of influencers together in our community, because unlike Miami, Atlanta, New York City, LA, some of those cities where you could just walk by and get inspired because of, you know, the architects or the Lamborghinis or the Ferrari cars, or just seeing you're a celebrity, that right there builds the morale of the community. But if you never see nobody besides drug dealers being successful, and one girl in the neighborhood that everybody's going after, you know, the coldest winter ever, if you will, now you have a lot of you have a lot of, you know, I guess you could say a lot of hate that's built within our community, because there's not a lot of outlets. So the celebrity fix and flip creates the outlets where you can be successful.
Okay.
And actually, that's where I actually saw you for the first time, was on Sway in the Morning. Mr. Cheeks was on there.
Oh, and yeah, I forgot. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Cheeks.
Yeah, okay. And I'm like, cool. And my husband was like, hey, I know that guy. And I'm like, so he was talking about business, and it's in yours, you know, come to my restaurant, you know, we got this real estate Mondays, we talk about credit. And I was like, oh, so I saw you, you know what I'm saying, with the influence. You never know. You never know when people saw you.
Right. Little did you know that I'm your husband's brother.
Never knew that. And we always watch Sway in the Morning. So when I saw that, you just never know, like you say, you just never know who you're connected to and what you might need. And just watching Sway in the Morning, so you got to get yourself out there. You got to do publicity. You got to make those relationships and those connections in order to move yourself forward. That was super dope when I saw it. I was like, okay, Mr. Benedict, I see you.
Okay, so I got some questions, because you hit me with a whole bunch of stuff, and you know, I don't know if you know, but I listen to every word when a person say something, and I'm almost like an elephant, like I don't forget anything. So now you telling me, brother, if you grew up in the 90s, so you actually left New Jersey in the height of the New Jersey music movement, where Naughty by Nature, Jaheim, the Rotten Rascals, and, you know, the Fugees, you know, being Haitian, you know, that whole movement was going on, and you telling me you picked up and went to Cali.
And you know what? Everybody who you mentioned, I know them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they Haitian. Some of them Haitian.
But again, you know what I mean? And that's not to, you know, talk about, you know, our predecessors, but I felt like a better job, and I tell them that too. Like, I felt like a better job could have been done as far as reaching back to come and grab some of the brothers from Jersey to put them on.
Yeah.
But, you know, to their defense, because, you know, I can't talk about another man or a woman until it's in their shoe. I remember meeting Shakim, trying to sign with
Flavor Unit.
Thank you, with Queen Latifah. But, you know, Jersey, we back then and even now, we still have a very me type of mentality. And Jersey, you know, they say Jersey is like the armpit of New York, which I don't agree. But if you say you from the East Coast, automatically people going to think that you from New York City, which ain't necessarily the case. So I feel like especially back then, those brothers was inside of inside of something that they couldn't necessarily control because they were being overshadowed by New York City. And so I think that, you know, we didn't really have a major outlet for, you know, young brothers and sisters coming back or bringing them back, if you will, because you got a lot of talent in Jersey, but everybody kind of go everywhere else. And it's not just on the rappers, because when I'm talking to the city officials, it's the same thing. Our high school students never want to come back here because we don't offer them anything. So the youngest and the brightest minds that should be rebuilding your community, everybody leaves. That's just like me. I could leave and with less pushback, and I could probably be more successful in another state. But if everybody leaves our state, what happens? It becomes desolate.
Correct. I hear you on that. Because now you're saying, like, during that time period, you left, they could have done more. I felt the same way. And I think I was talking to Jay Tanae's husband, Shalene, and I said, yo, it's a bunch of people that I kind of want to know, like, what they're doing. Because, like, I felt like I was like a borderline historian as far as rap in just New Jersey. Because I used to listen to, like, when I was younger, I used to listen to, because I'm from Plainfield, you know, by the way of Willingboro. So I claim both of them. And I said, yo, I used to be able to listen to Princeton rap. Used to have it like on Thursdays. And then I used to listen to WHBI. It used to come on the weekends, but it used to come on 2:00. So you seen like Funkmaster Flex, that wasn't his name, Jazzy Joyce, you know, having that 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. little slot. So now, like Redhead Kingdom.
Radio station.
Correct. Oh, that I was a host there. The 90.3 RLC, you know, true music. That's Big O.
My records used to play on there too. Shout out to DJ Scoop Doo.
Oh yeah, Scoop. Oh no, Scoop was on the paid side. I was on the free side. Scoop Doo had Wayne and Dipset. See me, I was a purist. Because when Cameron said he was better than Jay-Z, I was just like, so nobody gonna say something? You know, I was like, hold up, I like what you're doing. I see the pink, I see what your movement's doing, but we don't do that. We not gonna just say blasphemy. We can't do that. And, you know, they were saying some reckless stuff over there, but at the same time, Scoop Doo used to have all the exclusives, and when he had the Lil Wayne drop, I was just like, okay. And Lil Wayne was the hottest thing since Frisch Grease, so that was all fly. But on another note, you know, I heard you doing some good things. You know, I knew some people in Newark that had businesses off on Bradford and Halsey over there with the Islamic Center and things of that nature. But I want to know, how was it for you growing up? Yeah. I know people, you know what I'm saying? And I remember, you know, during that time period, you know, back in the early 2000s where it was trying to, you know, renovate, and I believe now it's getting to where it's supposed to be, but it's still, you know, not a lot of ownership there, because I know some people that's still renting and doing well because outside entities own a lot of the real estate, and they like, look, we ain't giving it up, and it is what it is. But I want to talk about you growing up in East Orange, because I know during the late 80s, early to mid 90s, there was a lot of backlash with people who were Haitian. And many people that had Haitian backgrounds were, saying they were Jamaican because it was like they didn't have that Haitian pride at that time. And I want to see like how did you deal with some of those issues that was going on around that time?
Well, I think that the Haitian pride was always there, but what happened was the Haitian muscle wasn't there. And so, I remember cats in Irvington beefing with the 40 boys. And then don't forget for a while they was trying to say that they was trying to put AIDS on Haitian people.
Correct.
That's what I was gonna
And
say,
so,
right.
and all of that really derives from them being afraid of the Haitian people and being upset that Haitian people had the audacity to overthrow one of the biggest militaries of all time, which was Napoleon's army. And so what they wanted to do, and they have been successful at it, is separating Haitian people from, regular black people. In the essence, well, a Haitian is almost like an African, not even realizing that Haitians are, let me see, how can I say this? Haitians is part of the Caribbean, but you never know that. They don't talk about, going to visit Haiti as part of the Caribbean.
Correct.
Me
Port-au-Prince.
Me growing up in the 90s, I marched on the Brooklyn Bridge when they was trying to say Haitians had AIDS and we couldn't go to school. I was part of that. I had 2 Haitian presidents in my family, on my mother and my father's side, Guerrier and Boys-Ron. So that revolutionary spirit is something that's innate for me. So I had a lot of fights. We grew up like that. And so I would never denounce my culture. I would never denounce my culture. And so now Haiti being cool is hilarious. My parents and myself, we own cabs early in the game. But when I said we own cabs, we ain't even really drive them. We would buy them and rent them out. And so now I remember people used to be like, oh, yo, you drive cabs. You drive cabs. And I'm laughing because now everybody's a damn Haitian cab driver. Everybody's an Uber driver. Everybody is, you know what I mean? So God has a way of, making the person being laughed at as now the person that's laughing at everybody. And so now, Haiti's the new cool since the earthquake.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at like how it's transformed, and I have, quite a few. I was telling Tanae earlier about, a lot of my close friends who are Haitian. And I was like, yo, they, and they vary in complexion. So I have one friend, he's real fair skinned. Then I have some, jet black. And my wife, when we first got married, they used to always, think she was Haitian because, high cheekbones, cat eyes. So as soon as you seen the high cheekbones, cat eyes, start saying something like, she looking like, I don't know what you're talking about. But at the same time, I always see that they don't depict Haiti as a haven, as a bastion, where it's like, yo, I know you're going to go, like people were going to Dominican Republic. And a few years ago, because I definitely want to talk to you about that. About a few years ago, I want to say like maybe 7-8 years ago, where in Dominican Republic, they were grabbing people who were dark skinned and just saying, you got to get out the country because you look Haitian. And it didn't get a lot of widespread publicity about it. And I was like, yo, fam, Dominicans look like my complexion. And now it's like almost some colorism type time. Whereas they was like, yo, you got to get out of Dominican Republic. And people were like, yo, I've been over here for 2 generations because we came over here to work, because there wasn't a lot of opportunities. So I'm asking you about that. Like, okay, how many times have you been back to Haiti? And also what's been going on developments since the earthquake? Because I've heard a lot of people who was doing some scams down there as well.
You asked, so let me try to depict it. As far as the Dominican hit pure ignorance and people not understanding their culture on both sides. More so on the Dominican side, you know what I mean? Because they have more, and the reason that they have more is because they have a lot of foreign aid.
Right.
A lot of aid don't come into Haiti, or if it does come into Haiti, it doesn't sprinkle down into the ground, because when you put people in power that have been in poverty for such a long time, I remember Dick Gregory said that. He says most people go broke when they hit their first $2-3 million because they're trying to erase a lot of the pain that they had from their childhood, not being able to have a house, not being able to have a car, not being able to buy shoes, a dress. So they're trying to mask a lot of that pain. So when you put people in power that never had power, what do they say? Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so the aid money never hits the ground. And so they were always trying to pin Dominicans against Haitians. I'll take this for example. I only renovate properties in the worst neighborhoods because I want to show people it's not the neighborhood, it's how you looking at it. God makes the same dirt everywhere. It's how you fertile that dirt.
Right.
And so again, a lot of people don't know America got its full independence because of Haiti as well.
Correct.
Because Haiti was instrumental in fighting for the Louisiana Purchase. It was a Haitian that discovered Chicago, and with me, I've always been a fighter. So, I'm gonna make you respect the Haitian. Like back then, I'm gonna go out for mine. Like it's just always win, lose, or draw. You grew up with me. Like we was in our neighborhoods. We wasn't project kids. I had to walk home from Catholic school between two projects, 108 and 325. So like,
I heard those stories.
I used to beg my mother to just put me in public school just because that walk home would be like walking through Beirut or Iran. But
with a target.
Some of those things make you who you are today. So, and the last time I've been to Haiti was a year after the earthquake. The earthquake had just happened, so I didn't see too much what's going on. But there's a lot of the country isn't stable. On so many different fronts. Getting rid of trash. Certain things like that. Having clean water. Having electricity. Having an army. Any nation that doesn't have an army to protect itself is not a real nation. If you got to call somebody else to protect you. Right. And so, certain things are done on purpose so the narrative could be painted a certain way. But they're not going to tell you that Haiti has more oil than Venezuela. It's not going to tell you that it has a certain amount of gold, and NGOs and other companies are down there stealing that. So it's not that Haitian people can't get it together. It's just that you got a lot of unforeseen forces that are still got his foot on his neck. How do you talk about, France? We just now finished paying the reparations, or we're still paying reparations to France for killing them that was enslaving us.
Yeah. Right. We were just talking about that.
Where they do that at? You feel me? So a lot of people just be talking because they got gums and teeth, but don't have any knowledge.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say too, in saying all that, I seen something on the page that was talking about. I was saying this to Big O earlier, and it was talking about the truth and the lie. And I think you might have shared it, and how the truth and the lie, the lie convinced the truth, and getting the warm bath with them, and while they were in the bath, the lie, so the truth closed.
Absolutely.
So the lie's going around thinking that, that everybody's believing the lie, they're loving the lie, because it looks like the truth, but it's really not. However, when the naked truth was trying to come out of the thing, nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to listen to that. And that's kind of the thing that it's saying is, you got a blind eye. You want to believe what looks good. You're not going to tell you the truth because we still have to put this, face front on. And it even goes down to I know you deal in real estate and you're a venture capitalist and all that, but even down to that, what's the naked truth about, real estate? What's the naked truth about it? Why do people of color or minorities not have more information about it? And so glad that you're doing that. But why do we seem not to do that? What's the myth about it that we are not engaging in or that we can't have?
I mean, it has to start from the education system. The number one way to rule a nation is when you take its people, you change their religion, which is their belief system, and you change their language.
Mm-hmm.
And then you replace it with yours. So if I don't know how to pray to my God, there's no way me and you can have the same God if your God is telling you that it's okay to enslave me. So that's number one. And number two, with the education system, why would I educate you so you can come and take over everything that I've built, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so since we don't have our own education system, there's no way that they would teach us how to take over them. There's no way that they would teach us how to take over their particular system. And so why would I teach you about real estate?
Right.
When I know that real estate is the true freedom. It's the 40 acres and a mule that they've been talking about. Listen, if you want to be a doctor, that has to be housed in some type of real estate. If you want to be a veterinarian, if you want to own a daycare, if you want to own a school, a supermarket, a bank, all of that is housed under real estate. So I tell people, regardless if you like it or not, you're in real estate. It's just that what spectrum of the real estate are you in? You might be at the lower part of, thank you. You might be at the lower part of the spectrum. You might be in it from a tenant perspective. You understand? If you paying $1,000 a month for 1 year, that's $12,000. In 5 years, that's $60,000 that you've already paid for that house.
Yep.
So the lack thereof of real estate being taught in our education system is another way to keep us down systematically.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you graduated, you was doing the music, went to California, having a child, come back, being around family members, and then you said, okay, let me start. What do you do? Real estate, or did you go into cars and vehicles? Because I've heard a couple of things, and that's why I was like, let me make sure so I can get the timeline correct. So did you start doing cars, flipping cars, and then you went to houses, or you just said, nah, I'm going for houses?
Well, the first thing I did was I had to find a job that would give me the freedom to be able to try real estate. And I say a job is a 3-letter acronym: just over broke, juggling over bills, and just out of bed. And so a job shouldn't be something that's long term. You go in there, you infiltrate, you educate, and then you vacate. And so you go in there, you learn. So I was able to get a job through a company called the Delta T Group. It allowed me the freedom and also help with my passion of teaching others to be able to buy a house. My mother gave me my first 20 to 25 pence. Of course, I paid her back because a lot of us have a misconception that because they family, you can abuse them that way. And my mother yells at me all of the time because she's like, yo, you treat me like an investor. I said, I don't do that for you. I do that for me to keep me on point. And so and giving her money back, and then, she's constantly being one of my investors, that's what got me started. And then, I bought my first piece of property, and by mistake, I made like $250,000.
You said, Bob, whoa, hold on. See, I don't know. I know you're dealing with type of money, but that sounds like real money to me, and you try to gloze on it. So let's just go back a little bit, and we're gonna slow down. How in the world? Yeah. He just said, you made $250,000 by mistake. All right, continue there and elaborate on that part.
I say I made $250,000 by mistake, 50,000 by mistake, because I didn't intend to make that much money. And so the first thing I went and did was try to buy a gold chain and a BMW.
Okay.
And my man told me, he said, listen, man, and he gave it to me clear. He said, man, them boys will kill you out here. That's the first thing he told me. And so I traded in all of the cars and the jewelry, because you young, you 24, is, you know, you out here.
250,000 at 24. Oh my God, you got a school worth of kids, don't you? It's like, what? Hold up, 24, 250,000 just sitting there. Oh my God, you guys restraint. I apologize, man. Continue. I'm just living vicariously through your story. Yes, sir. Oh, I think he might have drove through the thing.
He might have frozen. Hey, y'all, and he's driving too, so that's much respect. He's driving and talking. So I don't know where you at. You're back. Yeah, I see you. There you go. You froze up for a hot second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can.
Yeah, I think I was driving through like a police zone or something.
Ironically.
Right. I was saying, God is always a major pillar in my life. And so he told me, I'm not giving you this money to mess around. He was like, you know, all of your tenants that are on Section 8, you know, TRA, which is temporary housing assistance, HOPWA, housing opportunity people with AIDS. He was like, I'm giving you this money because I want you to expand it and build a community. So with that money right there, I ended up buying every house on the block on that same street. So on South 13th, between Gould and 9th Avenue, I would say at a point in time that I had, I would say about 70% of the block, I bought all of the houses. And I had one rule, that you couldn't be my tenant for more than a year and a half, because you would have to go through my program, and my program would show you how to turn your Section 8 government housing money into your down payment for your house. And so all of my tenants became homeowners. They're worth more to me being homeowners. Number one, it's a bigger cash out. But number two, which is the most important part, is you're allowing people to invest in their own communities and being owners. The reason that our neighborhoods look so deplorable is because we don't have a sense of ownership, because we're always renting to somebody, even though that we're renting for 15, 20 years. The fact that it's not yours, you don't mind urinating outside. You don't mind breaking up your cigarettes and all of these things here. You don't mind having that because you don't have a true sense of attachment to it, even though that you're raising your family there, you know, just through the rental system.
Absolutely. And I hear exactly, and what you're saying is, I want to say over 20 years ago, they had that same argument on 2020, and they showed private ownership in Native American reservation land and private ownership. And the one place that they said that it was successful was in North Carolina, in the area of Lumberton, with the Lumbee Indians or Lumbee Native Americans, where they had private ownership, and you could see how it's flourishing. Whereas if you went to other reservations, you know, it's it's depravity. Whereas, you know, it's, you know, alcoholism, you know, drug abuse, you know, stray animals on there, and it's like, you know, the education dropout rate is, you know, way above 50%. So they were using those comparisons, what you're saying, and usually saying, look, y'all did a study on reservations and stuff. I'm gonna just take that statistics and just put it straight toward housing projects in urban area, and it seems like it's the same thing. So that's why when you saying that, I was like, man, I heard that already.
Word. And it's not seeming, it is the same thing. But again, remember, this is not our playground. And so they can paint their narrative. Too many times do they try to put incarceration on Black people and people of color. Too many times they try to put drug abuse and alcoholism on us. Meanwhile, none of them, we don't control that narrative. So they have just as many crackheads, they have just as many people with opioid abuse, they got all of that. But the only thing is they control the news stations, You know, all of their drug users are inside of their houses. They got basements for their crackheads, and so and even foreclosures. Foreclosures is just as it increases, and it's just as much as urban areas too. The only difference is the city force sends out people to cut their grass. They keep their lights on. The PSNG still got to keep their lights on.
That's that live with the clothes on. That's what it is.
Yeah. Biggie, he froze up again.
The properties are not put up. And so meanwhile, they're walking through our community. Oh, you can't hear me?
No, you stepped out for 1 second. You good now?
You hear me?
Yes. Now we go.
So I don't know the last part you heard, but they do a very good job at masking where they're where they're inadequate at, their problems, their crackheads, like all of that, and their abandoned properties. They just mask it better.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's true. So you do have. Go ahead, Big O.
No. So now you actually looking at the inequities, and now you made a business out of it. Whereas you saying, all right, I made a mistake, made the money, started going down a foolish path of destruction, almost saying just, showboating, I would say. And now
that lasted 3 weeks.
look, and that was awesome that you had somebody to grab you to the side, like, look here, little bro. you're gonna start looking like lunch to people. You're gonna look like a nice little meals to somebody. Because the wolves is out there hungry, especially in Jersey. But now I want to speak about, okay, now you're rehabbing these homes, you're making sure that you have economic empowerment to the community as well. So now, if you're branching out, how do you have that same effect? Because I understand where you're in New Jersey, that's where you're from. But now you're talking about, okay, I'm gonna build a unit in North Carolina. So that's not where you're from. So how will you have that same impact and that same feeling from what you're saying now?
Because I have the octopus mindset, one head, but my hands are everywhere. If you're in North Carolina, I don't have to be in North Carolina, if the agenda is the same.
Okay.
I always tell everybody, you don't need 1 million people. You need your project manager, you need your banker, you need your investors, you need your lawyers, your accountant, you need your construction company, you need your handyman, you need your boots on the ground, and then you need what you call your government liaison. That's the ones that's going to help you maneuver in and out of the bureaucracy, because a lot of times it's not that you can't do the projects, it's just that customer service is at an all-time low. I know I keep mentioning her, but she just has such a major impact in my life, my mother, because, growing up in urban communities, especially as a boy, you have that mindset, like you mentioned earlier, like, yo, what you looking at, bruh? What? And so my mother said, you'll always be able to attract more with honey than you do with salt. Yeah. And so that's why I always smile and, keep it pushing even when I'm not in a good mood, because I know what that attracts. So that's why, I have, man, my bar is in one of the toughest cities in the country. And I don't have no issues because I use that mindset of being able to attract, hold on 1 second, I'm parking. I'm able to attract more bees with honey than anything else.
Yeah. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold on. You said something. I apologize, Jason. I got to take this quick little second because he did something. Yo, fam, if you're from Jersey and you got to stop talking to park, then I don't know if your driving skills is up to par. I'm just putting it out there. If you parallel parking, I got to ask this, man, because Jersey, we known as the best drivers in the world.
Hold on, sis. He don't tell you that I'm busting a U-turn on Broad Street. I'm still texting. I'm doing gum, and I still gotta look good while I'm doing it.
Okay. Listen, because we the best drivers. We gotta be the best drivers in the world in Jersey. so if you doing that, I'm like, oh, you don't do that. Like, we'll parallel park on you and have a conversation. Nobody else could do that. Like, when you do that, I'm like, oh.
Hey, while ordering a $1 chicken sandwich from Checkers.
Facts. Big facts. and it's not handheld, and it's handheld too. Hitting all of that. All right, so now you have a bar in Newark. What's the address for the bar in Newark?
It's 972 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey.
Okay, what kind of food do they serve there at the bar?
It's Caribbean soul food. It's a fusion.
Oh, okay. All right. So when I come home, I'm coming there. All right, what are you gonna tell me? What's the one I gotta get? You know what I'm saying? What's the one of me that I gotta get? Now don't be telling me everything. Don't do that. Tell me the one thing you be like, yo, get the number 2, you know what I'm saying, with the coconut, right? Like tell me what to get.
I'm gonna say you might as well buy 4 bottles because that's how I'm gonna make the most money. And then
that's marketing. That's that boss man right there. That's so funny.
Don't worry,
you eat everything.
Just buy the bottle.
Yeah, listen. I don't drink.
Everything else would come in play.
Yeah. Look, I don't drink. I can't drink. But let me say this now. Let's go into the celebrity flip. So now you have some of these celebrities doing it. Yeah, celebrity fix and flip. Okay, so now do you bring in your own contractors or you have other people bring in there? So if you're talking about, like, I've heard DJ Envy do his seminars, are you the person behind that, or are you doing it in collaboration, or you have separate things?
No, DJ Envy has his own thing, and I got my own thing, but my thing kind of has started out before this, but obviously he got a bigger platform. Shout out to the bruh. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
But I'm doing my own thing. I've always been my own thing. You like I said, I always tell you about FBOE. Now we out squad, all loyal people. So the bigger they are, that's cool. But I still like to make sure that we have our own umbrella. Yeah, he was just one of the people that I brought onto the show. But they shout out to them. Shout out to whoever's giving out the information. But I differentiate myself from others because I'm really boots on the ground. I'm really building houses. You got a lot of cats that are saying they building houses, but they don't build any houses. I don't ever see them. I don't speak in theory. I speak in facts. So you can actually walk up and see my sites. A lot of people are major wholesalers now. That's cool, but I want to see the property. It's easy to lie behind these things, but I can really give you addresses. You could really go to the county Hall of Records and see my name on over 150 properties. And besides that, I'm not just a quote unquote, internet influencer. Shout out to them too, but I'm also stamped where you can become a licensed realtor through my school. Just as of recent, William Patterson decided to partner up with my vocational school, which is a major win for me, where my classes will be taught at William Patterson, which other schools are gonna end up follow suit. And I plan in the next couple of years to buy maybe a decommissioned school or a school that's looking to move on to a bigger area, buying that school and becoming a D2, D3 school myself, to have my own university, to have my own pilot, to have my own scuba divers, to have my own people that's doing research in COVID-19 testing and Ebola and all of those things. So yeah, we at it.
Okay.
All right. So what's the name of your business? It's Alpha Development.
Yeah, it's a couple of them. Alpha Development and Investment is the parent company. Regal Real Estate School, which is regalrealestateschool.com, is its own entity. That's the adult vocational school. My nonprofit is UNCDC, United Nucleus Community Development Corp. And so is Celebrity Fix and Flip. Now, the reason that I have all of those LLCs is to limit my exposure in case I get sued. That way my entire businesses is getting sued. It's on that particular EIN.
Got you. So do you have any endeavors going back to Haiti, because they need a lot of infrastructure there? Do you have any projects or even planning to do any infrastructure there as well?
Yes, I definitely plan on going back there, but I need to make sure that my base out here is strong. My next big endeavor, if it's the will of the Most High, is to open up my own bank, because I believe in housing, education, employment, food consumption, healthcare, and then banking, because you can have all the great ideas, but if it's somebody else that has to fuel your ideas through their money, then you will always be, your dreams will always be atrophied.
Correct. How much money or capital would you need to get your bank off the ground?
You probably need about $2 million, but it's really the infrastructure of the bank, having your board of trustees and all of these things. All of those things has to line up in order for you to get chartered. So what I want to do is buy a failing federally chartered bank and then running it that way.
Okay. All right. You know, because I know some people, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, let me send them that way, because I'm seeing people make gobs amount of money during this pandemic. And sometimes it makes me feel some kind of way, like I need to be doing more. But at the same time, it's like, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
It's a highway. It's a highway. And listen, don't feel bad about yourself making a lot of people making much more money than you, and it's making you feel discouraged because you don't know what hurdles that they're actually going through.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely.
What hurdles they're going through. You know what I mean? So don't ever count. People be like, yo, bro, I want to be just like you. I haven't taken a vacation in 12 years. And so, but I traded it in for 3 liquor licenses. So I'm all right. So it's all relative.
I just want to say one more thing. We're to get out of here. Definitely want you to shout out your social media info. But I do want to say that they're females. I don't know if there's a lot of females, into this, but I did want to acknowledge, I think they're out of Atlanta. They're called the Fearless Fund. And it's Keisha Knight Pulliam, who used to be on the Cosby Show, and a lady by the name of Ariane Simone. And they're females. They're doing the same thing, but they're geared towards the Black women who want to have businesses. Same concept you have, but it's like CC, T-Coin, and things like that. So more females need to get into that. For your Real Estate Mondays, I know you can RSVP. Can you do it online, or do you have to actually be there?
No, you can come in person, and then also we stream it live, and it's free.
Okay, that's great. Good to know.
So I want to say shout out to the Black female too. Black females is the mother of the universe. I always say that. Yes, the man is the head of the family, but the woman is the neck. When she turns, the head turns. So there's no big I's and little U's. Women don't need to walk in front of men or behind men, but right next to us. So shout out to the ladies. Women's History Month Appreciation Month just passed, so I'm happy that the ladies is holding it down.
Absolutely appreciate it. Shout out your social media. Where can we find you on the platforms? Where can we find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram under my name, Benedict Guerrier, BENEDICT. Last name G as in God, U as in understanding, E as in Eric, R as in righteous, IER.
All right. And shout out. Thank you so much for being on KROSS BARZ. Oh, you got something to say? You can take us out. Oh
yeah. Well, listen. We could have been on here for way longer and discussed a whole bunch of stuff. Because and just by the wealth of information that he's just shown us,
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out ways that we can support his endeavors and efforts as well. I'm thankful that he was brought to my attention. I was like, wait a minute, let me see if I know these people, because there's no accidents or coincidences. So now it's just like,
that's crazy that you saw me on TV. I didn't even know that. A lot of things I don't even know, but I do these a lot. Listen, I appreciate you guys. Much success. I want to come back onto the show as soon as you give me the information. I'll tag it.
Sure.
If you need credible people on your show, celebrities, etc., reach out to me. I'll make that happen to you, because my job is to help your platform grow too.
No doubt.
Thank you. Shout out KROSS BARZ. Love that.
All right. So with that being said, we have Benedict, saying that I think right now we're gonna speak into existence. He's going back. He's gonna be the Haitian king. Nah, it ain't no king. Still Republic. Look, still gonna be Republic.
I don't want to be the king.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want to be a prophet. Prophets stay till their message is heard.
Yeah, no doubt. But at the same time, it's rough during their life. They're beloved after they're gone. So we want to give you your flowers while you can smell them. You know what I mean? So absolutely. So that's absolutely. So that's been an edition of KROSS BARZ. Big O signing out, Jay.
Hey, Jay Tanae signing out with Big Benedict Businessman.
Hey.
Peace, y'all. Thank you very much.
All right.